addition to anything that you want to talk about, is I want to talk about how you can utilize social media to one, create that almost celebrity appearance of that celebrity agent, how you can use it to build engagement, build better relationships, and provide more value to the people that follow you. But so the goal of this conversation today is to provide those three things. But what I want to talk about is your and life. Your and life. So if you can write this, if you have the ability to write down, and if you're driving, please don't do that. Come back and rewatch this. But I want to know what your and life is. So you're a realtor and what? What else are you? I ask you that question because oftentimes we get stuck in this world where real estate can just kind of consume us. And we get lost in the rest of our life because of, everybody likes to say real estate's 24/7 and real estate doesn't sleep, and yet it does, and there's another side of you, right? So I want you to think about what is your and life. A-N-D, what is your and life? And as you're thinking about that, I want you to ask yourself who you are. Are you a mom? Are you a husband, a boyfriend, a golfer? Are you a fisherman? Do you like to draw? Do you like to cook? Who are you? Who are you? And then when you have that answer, I want you to ask yourself who you want to be. Who do you want to be? Do you want to be a golfer? Do you want to learn how to fish? Do you want to be an artist? Who do you want to be? And then to circle back on the and life, who are you outside of being a realtor? Who are you outside of being a realtor? I'll share with you that this has been something that I've struggled with for years. This has been something that I've struggled with because prior to having kids, this is all I did. I woke up, I sold houses, I came home. I woke up, I sold houses, I came home, right? And then I had kids, and now I'm a dad and a husband and all of these different things. And I wear multiple hats, and sometimes I have to wear them all at the same time. But it wasn't until somebody asked me what my and life was that I got really clear on how to use social media to build and create more engagement, to build better relationships, and to provide more value to people. It wasn't until I had my and life that I learned there was more to Rich than just being the real estate guy. So you're probably now sitting there going, okay, great. How do I do this? How? So there's three things. There's three things that we can do to create the and life and share that with our people. The first thing is to engage with others. The first thing we can do is engage with others. So there's many different people who focus on social media and say that you want to play with the algorithm. So if you start by priming the algorithm, by engaging with others, they're then going to show up in your feed and you're going to show up in theirs. So what does that mean? It might mean that if part of your and life is that you like to cook, that maybe you start engaging in Facebook groups and Instagram blogs and different things that are focused around cooking. Maybe art is your passion and you love to paint. Well, then maybe you're going to engage with others in that atmosphere. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do when we talk about how to do this is we're going to engage with others. Now, I don't mean just liking their post. I mean genuinely taking an interest in what they're doing. If I saw that George posted a picture golfing, I might make some crass comment about, did the tee go further than the ball, right? Or I might make some joking comment about, yelling four or something. Because sometimes my tee goes further than the ball. I suck. I get it. But that creates engagement, right? I want to create engagement with something that somebody else finds important in their life. The next thing that I want to do is I want to create that engagement for myself. So how do I do that? How do I do that? I create that content. I create that content. So how do you create the content around your end life? There are a lot of people out there that don't want to showcase who they are outside of being a realtor. There are a lot of people that don't want to do that. I'm going to encourage you to think differently about this. And I'm going to encourage you to think differently about this for a couple of reasons. One, we work in an extremely sexy industry, an extremely sexy industry where real estate, people care more about real estate than they do almost anything else. Everybody wants to know how much their home is worth. Everybody loves watching Selling Sunset and $1 Million Listing and all of those things. Those people that are on those shows, they're mini celebrities. They're mini celebrities because they open up and show who they are, what they do, right? There are, if you watch $1 Million Listing or Selling Sunset, it's not always about the houses that they're showing so much as it is the lifestyle that they're living. We have that ability. We have that ability to also showcase some of that. So, what I would encourage you to do is to be purposeful about how you create your content. I would encourage you that if you go to a showing and there's an amazing kitchen, take a picture, post it up on Instagram or on Facebook. Could you see yourself living here? The buyer of this home is going to love their kitchen. People love being a part of what we do. They love being a part of what we do. So if we can give them a behind the scenes look at what we do, they now buy in to what we do at a higher level. Does that make sense? So we want to create content. We want to create more content. So how do we do that? We do that in a couple different ways. We're going to do it by snapping pictures of the amazing kitchen or the pool or the lanai or the pond or the 5-car garage or whatever it is, right? We're going to create those moments, but I also want you to create a moment where you just spilled your cup of coffee and it's all over your stuff, right? You want to show the real, the authentic. Like I'm sitting down, I got into my office this morning. I have one water, I have a coffee, and I have another water in my office. And as I was preparing for our call and going over all the information, I spilled my coffee all over my shit. Right? Snapped a picture, posted it up. Great start to my Friday, right? But people, one, they think that's funny. And two, it's going to create engagement of, oh, that sucks or whatever in the comments. And awesome. I'm creating now engagement with people that are seeing what I do. So so there's that side. But then there's the side of our industry in terms of creating engagement and creating content around what's awesome where we live. Now, if I lived in Florida, if I lived in New York, if I lived anywhere that had something cool, like perfect example, like Cleveland on Monday is in the direct path of this total eclipse. Okay. You bet your butt I am going to be creating massive amounts of content around this and trying to figure out how to use my camera with those stupid glasses. right? I'm going to do that because you guys in Florida or in Biloxi, Mississippi aren't going to see what I get to see being here. Does that make sense? So I'm going to use that as an opportunity to create some content around it. So when we create our videos, the 5 best places in Cleveland to watch the solar eclipse, that might be the hook. We want to start every video that we do with a hook. And it could be so you're looking for the best place to have a burger in Sarasota, Florida. I'm Realtor Rich Gannum, and I'm going to show you the 5 best places to get a burger in Sarasota. So you get them on the hook, then you introduce yourself, then you provide the value, and then there's a call to action. Okay, so it starts with the hook. So write this down. Start with a hook, then give an introduction, then provide your value, then have a call to action. Hook, introduction, value, call to action. Now, do any of you guys live anywhere cool? Do you guys live anywhere cool that like people like, I don't know, they might want a vacation where you live? Some of you guys probably live around Mickey Mouse and all of that fun stuff, right? Well, when somebody wants to come, do you guys get a lot of buyer leads that might be coming from Des Moines, Iowa, or Detroit, Michigan, that are looking at houses where you live? Could you provide value on the 5 best places to stay when you're visiting Orlando? Could you use, so one of the things that the Grand Floridian does every year around Easter is they do their eggs, right? If I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but the Grand Floridian every year, and they do that around Christmas time with the trees, right? They make it a thing. How can you use that thing to be awesome around where you live? A great video that a friend of mine did. He sold a place at Golden Oak, which is a neighborhood, for those that aren't familiar, which is a neighborhood it's a Disney neighborhood, right outside of Disney World, right? So his video was, so you want to know what $5 million buys you at Golden Oak? I'm Realtor, whatever, and I'm gonna give you the tour of what $5 million buys you at Golden Oak. And he does the thing. So for more information on life in Orlando, visit blah 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 blah. Don't forget to share this with somebody else that would love to know what $5 million buys you in Golden Oak. Does that make sense? How you're gonna create it? You're gonna use the hook. You're gonna give yourself an introduction to provide value, and then a call to action. So if you look up hook examples in Google, hook examples for storytelling, you're going to get a bunch. So some that you might get might be how to find an affordable whatever in wherever. The 5 best secrets of winning in multiple offers could be I've been struggling with this and this helped. So you can utilize this with your and life, right? And in real estate. Here's the best way to blank if you're thinking about selling your house. These are the 5 things that you need to do before picture day. Do you see how the hook is going to set why they should watch the video when we're creating our content? The third thing that we're going to do is then we're going to provide value. We're going to provide value. Now, how do we do that? Well, we've just taken the opportunity to create the content using the hook and the introduction, the value, and the call to action, right? We just took that. Now we can use that and share it with the people that we know want to be a part of the information. But the other way that we can provide value is simply, George, I'll get to you in a second, is simply reaching out to those that know us, like us, and trust us, and engaging in their life and providing value to them. one of the things that we started doing is we started creating a video every single time a client asked us something that we've already been asked once before. Anytime a client asks us something that we've already been asked once before, we're creating a video for it. Because then we now have a database and a catalog of all of the video questions that people get asked or that people ask us that we then get to share from our expertise, our point of view. George, go ahead.
Sorry for the interruption. News flash. CEO of eXp Realty, Leo Perea, just announced.
Interesting. I feel like that was a question that I asked when he was with us, and we didn't get an answer.
Well, we just did. And for all of you that are part of our family with eXp, I've known Leo for 15 years. We got into REOs together. He is the most brilliant person, strategy person I've ever seen. And he has been our chief strategy officer. And both Rich and myself and a couple others were like, wow, he's our CEO at some point. And they just announced it. I apologize for the introduction. This really, or for the interruption, Rich, but I knew you'd want to hear it because I knew that you were 100% aligned with that. This is a monumentally positive thing. Glenn Sanford's brilliant. Leo is the next, this is the next 15 years.
When we had Glenn on the Black Belt Mastermind, he joined us, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
And I asked him, I said, Glenn, Leo has stepped up in a really big way, right? Where do you see Leo in the next 5 years with our organization? And he refused to answer the question. So I think
to be fair, he deferred. He goes, I don't want to talk to you. He was very, very genuine, or very
yes.
Very authentically appropriate about that. He didn't want to let a cat out of a bag that was coming, but this is a big deal. This is huge. I'm so excited. Stupid grin. Yeah, that's me. Just watch.
Yeah, it's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for us.
Apologize for the interruption.
No, you're good. You're good. So thinking then, going back to how do we provide the value? Anytime somebody asks you a question, create the video for it. Not because then you have this library. But the other reason that you want to provide the value is because you want to be known in your local marketplace, in your community, in your neighborhood as the go-to person. So if, for example, if there's a Facebook group for your homeowners association, like there's one for mine, and I'm in it, and anytime anybody says, hey, I need up this, who do you have? I go, here's my guy. Here's my guy, here's my guy, here's my guy, for everything. I become that person that's providing value without saying, I'm the realtor, I'm the realtor, I'm the realtor. Does that make sense? Then you can then use that and give it legs when you're talking about the 5 reasons why somebody might want to live in your neighborhood. And then that goes on to YouTube. And then when everybody searches Golden Oak, if you live in Golden Oak, these are the 5 best reasons to live in Golden Oak. Your video shows up. Or the 5 best, why living by Siesta Key is the greatest place in the world, or whatever it is, right? Providing value through social is huge. Providing value through social is huge. What questions do you have about anything that we've talked about thus far? I see some stuff in the chat. What questions do you have? Nothing. There
Rich, I don't have a
question. Hi, Tom.
Hey, I don't have a question, but I got a statement. Rich is one of the wisest guys I know, because last Thursday, if you didn't hear his conversation with Glenn Sanford, he asked this question: is Leo going to be our CEO? Just announced, Leo takes over as CEO of eXp Realty.
You're late, Tom. We covered that about 10 minutes ago.
All right, see you later, guys.
Welcome, Tom. What questions do you have about anything that we've talked about thus far this morning? what takeaways what have you heard? What are you going to implement into your business? Either use the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself.
So, Rich, I thank you so much for all that you are doing for all of us. And I just want to say that the way that you have spoken about our social media presence and the way that we can move forward is very logical, but it's also very emotional at the same time. Because we want to attract the people whom we want to work with, then we're basically attracting the people on social media that we're already friends with. It's the same thing as a warm call as opposed to a cold call. When we're prospecting, who do you really want to work with? You want to have people who are like you. And this is what's so awesome about our big group. Each of us all have those interests or those things that we're passionate about. If you share about those things, will attract those people into conversations. Those conversations lead to building trust and building relationships for that future business. So thank you, Rich, for allowing us to see this in a different light, but the same light at the same time, if that makes sense.
Well, and I think you had Chris Dove on a couple weeks ago, that and she talked a lot about creating engagement with her social and how she chooses to do and build her business. I think she's a great example of somebody that really uses the like attract like in her business, right? She's always posting about being in the gym first thing in the morning, and as she's leaving the gym, it's her post is always, okay, your turn, and the time she's leaving. She's showcasing the houses that she's showing. She engages with her people, and then people know her, like her, trust her, and that's how she's been able to build her business into it as an icon, right? We social media is our friend, and I know a lot of people can get discouraged and scared of, well, what are people going to think? I used to think that way as well, and then I got a lead, and then I got another lead, and then I closed a sale. And now social media in part is about 20 to 25% of my business, because people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. People want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So if I can build that trust through storytelling, through using the hook, through engaging on their social media, on their content, and then by providing value to them, I'm going to win, and I'm going to set myself up to win. Because I don't do any of this for me. I mean, selfishly, I guess I do, because I want the business out of it. But I want to be able to provide value in such a way that when somebody says, hey, I need an electrician, I need a plumber, I need to sell my house, I'm the guy they come to, because I've provided so much value to them. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, right? It's so the jab, jab, jab is give, and then the right hook is when you ask for business, right? You have to be able to give before you receive. And the easiest way to do that on social is by creating content, providing value, and engaging with others. What other takeaways or questions do you have? Don't make me call you out. Michelle, what do you what have you thought of?
I do have a question. How
Yeah.
much do you post personally, or do you have a social media manager, or are you using any apps or, I don't know, programs to help take a little bit off of your plate?
So I personally have a VA that is in charge of all of my marketing, in a sense. So I'm going to preface it with this. I want my brand, my business brand, to look a very certain way. Okay. So her job is to make sure everything looks uniform. I create the content, I do all of the work. She just makes sure it looks pretty. I use my iPhone. I shoot all of my content on my phone. And I post, I will always be the one that posts to my story. I will always be the one. If you see anything personal in my life on social, it comes from me. Anything business related, it's based on the content calendar that we're working on for that particular month. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, just seems like we're going to be living our lives on social media.
Well, I don't think that I don't think that we have to. I don't think that we have to live our lives on social media. I think that we can effectively do it throughout the day without getting lost in the rigmarole of social. So what I would suggest is if you're sitting at a red light, that'd be a great time to upload something to your story. I'm not saying that we have to be on it 24/7. That's not what I'm saying. Our job is to sell houses and to be wives, husbands, mothers, daughters, all of the things to all of the other people in our life, right? This is just a section. But like if you ask Chris or if you ask anybody else that uses social at a high level, everything is very strategic around when things get posted. So you're going to see myself, you're going to see the majority of my content being posted by me personally in the morning or at night. Anything that like any like just listeds or any of like the videos that I've created, we're scheduling those out in Facebook or on Instagram. We're scheduling those to hit at certain parts of the day. But any of like the raw, real, I just spilled my coffee, like that stuff is in real. It's in real time as it happens because people, people want to people see that and they're like, oh, you're real and authentic. That's a good question. What other questions or comments do we have? Go ahead. Go. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Okay. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi. Hi. My question is, it's a multi-part question. How often did you post before you started posting for real estate? And how did you gradually start posting more? How did you convince yourself to post more? Did you set a time up during the day? Like, hey, I know I'm going to post this many times, so I have to come up. Did you like go places with the intent to post? Because I'm not really a online person. I'm trying to be. And so for right now, like I'll go to places and I'll take pictures for the house, but I won't think about, hey, I should have did this or I should have did that, or I should have took extra pictures for extra posts or for advertisements. How do you remember to do that? Is that something you just start making little notes for, just keep trying till you remember, or
Good question.
put it on
It's a
your
good question.
to-do list?
So she asked, how do I remember to post stuff and take pictures? It starts just being conscious of being able to take a picture of a cool kitchen or an awesome backyard or whatever it is. A lot of times what I will do, to your point, is I'll take a picture of something and I might not post it right away. It might be a week later,
Okay.
right? So but people don't necessarily know that I'm not in that house right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, good point.
So I'll take pictures. Like if I see a really cool kitchen or we're in Cleveland, our average sales price is like $250,000 to $300,000. I also see a lot of really crappy houses because I work with a lot of investors. So like if I go into a dump, I'm gonna take, you bet your butt I'm taking a picture of that and going, how many dumpsters do you think it'll take to clean this up? Right. And I'll take a picture of that and that'll then get posted later. It doesn't need to be right now to answer your question.
Okay.
And then you had a second part. What was the second part?
I think you pretty much answered everything. Because
Okay.
what I've been doing is like I'll take pictures and sometimes I collect pictures and then I'll post them later. But I just don't do it enough. And I'm trying to work on building my momentum with random pictures. So I'm in Ocala. So what we have is the World Equestrian Center.
Hmm.
So I think that's our big attraction for right now. They did open the springs back up. I keep telling myself I'm going to go and just see because they have campgrounds and they have camping. And my grandfather used to work there like back in the 50s and stuff. So I kind of want to, but about what I'm doing at certain places that I don't take any pictures. Like if I'm going and I'm exploring a cave and I see water running through it, I'm just so like excited about what's going on that I don't take pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to convince myself to, you know,
Well, I think there's definitely,
I,
they're living in the moment,
Rich,
which is awesome, right? Living in the moment is awesome.
Rich, this is what's so awesome. She just said something that was really awesome. When she's caught in the moment, if you watch certain people, they will go live on their Instagram to catch that emotional portion. So I encourage you when you're caught up in that emotional moment, just like what Krista, just like what Rich has said, hit the button and film it. And then you got it. And then it's done.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on that in the next 2 days.
Well, and then you could even talk about, the best places to go, the best places to camp right at the springs or whatever it is, You can create a whole bunch of different content around that area. You can do a lot with that.
Okay.
What other questions do you have before we wrap up this morning?
Where do you post? Are
When do
you
I
using
post?
where? Are you on Instagram most or are you on YouTube or
So we have a YouTube, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have TikTok. The majority of my personal content of like life as rich ends up on Instagram and Facebook. The business side of me ends up on YouTube and TikTok, and then our business page is a lot of where that goes. Um, but I've realized the majority of my people, like my followers, are Instagram and Facebook. So that's where I post to my stories there, talking about creating engagement, things of that nature. Um, I do a lot of that. And if you even if you go to my channel, go to my personal page, there was one post that I had, um, that uh, created 91 comments because I asked if this was the same as this in texting. 91 comments about, people, what their thought was on the thumbs up versus the middle finger. When if the thumbs up in a text was the same as giving somebody the finger, right? It's like it created a ton of engagement in that respect. So again, there's no like secret sauce, but it's about creating engagement and then having that conversation with your people.
sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Guys, thank you so much for participating today, for being here with us. Next week, we are at 8:30. 8:30 next week, Monday through Friday, 8:30. If you don't have any other questions, we are wrapping up here. Have an amazing Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Well, hold on one second. So everybody good to go. Have a great weekend. God